When my sister died, that was the problem that started. It was so horrible. We didn't know. Secrets started to come out, and it just get worse from there. Going through financial difficulties here in England, it wasn't good for me either. It was horrible. My love life was a mess. It used to be arguments all the time, arguments. We eventually even split. I was living in a different home, he was living in a different one. We never used to see each other. When we do see each other like once a week, it would be an argument. The next week it would start again. And life was just a mystery. After my sister died, I came back and I wanted to go to church. So I just went to the church Sunday. I was even early. The turning point for me was to make that changes that I want to see. I want to have a happy family, a happy home. I want my financial life to be where I want it to be. I want to do things that would turn things around for me and my family. It started off with my family, really. I started praying for them, doing things that should help them, making purposes that will help them. At that moment, I was brave to step out and to do the things that I'll do, because at the end of the day, I even have 2 children I was sending to uni and high school at the same time, and I have to be the one who financing that. So it was difficult for me, but I step out and make that changes. Now, my love life is getting better and better. We are planning our wedding. We're getting married soon. Next year we're getting married, and we are happy because we are making the changes that I should make.
Good evening and welcome to another Finding Answers Live. We are returning to a topic we've covered before, and that's to do with dealing with bereavement. You know, it's very hard when someone we love passes away. How do you cope with that? How do you cope with the loss of a loved one? There are some people that can take it really badly. It hits them really hard. There are others that, although it does affect them, but they are able to pick up the pieces, get up, and move on in life. If you are finding it hard after losing a loved one, then hopefully this program tonight will indeed help you. Our guests are 2 young women who lost relatives very close to them not so long ago, but today they have bounced back. And you're going to hear their story in the second part of the program. To find out more about this program, let's have a look at our usual video for this evening.
Bereavement is the loss of someone or something. This could be a family member, a partner, or even the breakdown of a relationship. It is a difficult time whereby we need to adjust to immense changes. It shakes everything up, your beliefs, your personality, and even your sense of reality. Bereavement is the time we spend adjusting to loss. Experiencing bereavement can be a very confusing time, as it involves a huge range of very powerful emotions. It involves actually accepting that your loss has happened. You will experience the pain that comes with this loss and try to adjust to life without this person, situation, or relationship. There may even be lots of demands on you during this time, such as practical issues like registering a death or sorting out a property. You may also feel guilty or angry because of the situation. But one day, you will get to a point where you can begin to move forward. This doesn't mean you have to forget your loss, but you will gradually move on. This isn't a bad thing. It doesn't mean that you are heartless. It means that you have finally been able to channel your emotions into new things.
So that's tonight's program. If you are finding it difficult to move on after the loss of a loved one, then our lines are open. You can give us a call. Someone will be able to listen to what you are going through and even refer you to bereavement counselling, an organisation who can help you. Or if you like a prayer and further advice, then you can speak to one of our advisors. The number on the screen is 0207 686 6300. Lines are open right now that you can give us a call, okay? With me tonight is Victoria. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Voice improved a bit?
A little.
A little?
Yeah.
All right. So tell us about tonight's topic then.
Well, bereavement is a distressing but actually quite a common experience. Sooner or later, unfortunately, most of us will suffer the death of someone we love. Yet in our everyday life, we think and talk about death actually very little. We also have very little opportunity to really learn about grieving, how it feels and what are the right things to do, and what we think of as normal. So when we lose someone close to us, we experience not just one feeling, but a whole succession of feelings. In the few hours following death, people feel stunned, maybe even expressing what we call an emotional numbness. And this is very often then replaced by yearning for the lost person and even the experience of anger, guilt and agitation. But hopefully people will move past these initial feelings to eventually feel an acceptance of the loss. Now, we're not saying that you'll forget someone, but being able to continue with life without those feelings of anger or anguish that you may have felt previously.
Right. Have you ever lost anyone close to you?
I lost my nan. She was very ill for a long time, so we knew it was coming, but luckily, thank goodness, nothing shocking.
Yeah, I think the worst case is when it's someone that's very young, right? You're not expecting that death, but when it happens, it can be a shock. And, you know, in our work as ministers, we have to visit sometimes people who have lost family members in the most gruesome way. And, you know, it's very hard to see the family go through what they go through. Some are able to be strong, right, throughout all of it and be like the rock for their family, but others, they don't take it very well. So on this program, our aim is to try to help you through this loss that you are facing. So Victoria, what's the contact details, please?
So if you'd like to speak to one of our advisors at any point during the show, then our number is 020 7686 6300, or you can send us an email. Our email address is help@findinganswers.tv, or you can talk to us via social media, send us a tweet. Just start your tweet with @FindAnswersTV, or search for us on Facebook. Just search for Finding Answers.
All right, there you have it. So we have our two guests, we have our experts who are giving advice on this, and I'll also be saying a prayer at the end of the program. But also as well, I'll be showing you a video. Now stay tuned, because this video, many people are taking this video, especially young people, they're taking it as a joke, but in fact, there is something more sinister to it. And you'll find out later on in the program. We're gonna go for a break now. When we come back, we'll meet our two guests for tonight. We'll see you after this.
The pursuit of happiness. What will make you happy? Success? Fame? New shoes? Financial security? Love? Education? Independence? Family? Sometimes in the pursuit of things we think will bring us happiness, sometimes we fail to see that we aren't happy, or we never find it. We live in a world of people.
rather than pursue things to make you happy? What if we all worked to make each other happy? Wouldn't we all be happier?
Has the US been steering killer drones? Missiles won't reach Syria for several months. Fighter jets to be outside.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, tonight's topic is dealing with bereavement. So, let's go and meet our guests for this evening.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
My two guests tonight are Chevel
Yeah.
and Saheeda.
Saheeda, yeah.
Welcome to the program. Now, today you are smiling,
Yeah.
right? You've moved on in life, but you did face bereavement in your families, right?
Yeah.
So I want to start with you, Chevel, first of all. Who was it that you lost and how long ago was it?
I lost my mum, and it was 9 years ago.
9 years ago?
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
I was 16.
So you're just giving your age away. So you're 16 at the time.
Yeah.
Now, 16 is a critical time in a girl's life,
Yeah, exactly.
right? It was hard.
Yeah, very hard.
How was it hard for you?
So my mum started getting ill when I was about 13, and that time I was in school. We didn't really know what it was, but she went to the doctors and checked it out, and we noticed the doctor said that she had lupus. So
For the viewers at home, what is lupus?
it's sort of like cancer. It eats away at your body just like cancer.
Really?
Yeah. So at the age of 13, that's when we found out that she was ill. It actually started when she got pregnant with my younger sister.
Really?
Yeah, her pregnancy was really bad. Everywhere she went, she was ill for the whole 9 months. So
Did it have effect on your sister?
no, my sister's okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So as time went on, she had to be admitted in the hospital and she was there for about 3 months. And at that time I was in school. So at school, it really affected me.
So this is during your GCSE times, right?
No, this was during my GCSE times. So at school, I would go in the morning and my face would just be down. I would be sad. There were times I would cry. My friends would try to talk to me and I wouldn't say anything to them. It was just really bad. And there were times that I would even change up my personality. I would get really angry at people. I would say what I felt or I just said anything. I didn't really care about how you felt because I was really hurting inside because I saw how ill my mum was. Going to the hospitals after school and things like that to visit her, it was really, really hard. Right. There was a time that I even went to the hospital and because she was in so much pain, she told me to go home because she didn't want me to see her in that state. And I remember the whole way home, I was just crying on the road because I didn't want to see her in that state. I wanted to be there for her, but she didn't want me to see her in that state.
In other words, you just felt helpless.
Exactly.
Right? You're trying to rely on the doctors to give you some kind of encouragement that things will be okay, but you never even got that.
No.
Okay.
No.
When did she pass away?
She passed away when I was 16, just after my GCSEs and finishing secondary school, starting college.
She missed that kind of important period of your life.
It was just after that. So when I finished my GCSEs and I just started college, that's when she passed away.
Tell us, how hard was that for you?
It was very, very hard.
Were you kind of expecting the worst? Or were you hoping that, you know what, hopefully she can live a bit longer through this pain?
It got to a point where I was expecting the worst because a lot of things went wrong in the hospital. A lot of things went wrong where she even caught an infection in her heart and she had to have surgery. So that just went all wrong. And she was in intensive care for a while. And going in intensive care and just looking at her, I kind of just lost all hope.
Right.
And that was when she passed away.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously it was hard for you. What about the rest of the family? How did they take it?
They didn't take it well. My mum was like a person who kind of held the family together. She was there for literally everyone in the family. She was there for. If someone was in need, she was there for them. So the fact that she passed away, it broke everyone. Everyone was shocked, everyone was surprised, and she was really young as well. She was only 36 when she passed away. Yeah,
Okay.
so it wasn't a good effect on the family. And plus I had a younger sister as well, so.
So who would look after you and your sister?
My mum was married, so we lived with my stepdad, and I have an older brother as well.
Okay.
So, but I took the responsibility of taking care of my sister.
Okay.
While my stepdad would work and my brother would be at work.
So on your young shoulders, there was this mother role that you had to, it's forced on you basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned you were at college at the time?
Yeah, I was at college.
How did that affect your studies?
When my mum passed away, I thought that I could finish my studies, but I couldn't stay. So eventually I left college, and it's like I lost all vision, all hope in getting anything to do with my studies, to be honest.
Were your grades quite poor?
No, I had good grades.
Really?
I
So
had
you
good
kind
grades.
of kept on going, plugging your way through?
But I just couldn't focus. I couldn't deal with like going into college, seeing everyone around me all happy, and I just lost my mum. So eventually I left college.
You left?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do then?
Nothing. For a while I did nothing.
You stopped living?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So what, would you be at home?
Yeah, I'll be at home. I'll take care of my sister. I was trying to look for jobs, but nothing was really working.
Now, you've lost hope.
Yeah.
Where did you think your future would be? Did you have any hopes for the future at all?
I really didn't, because my mum, it's your mum. No one wants to have their mum passing away.
Yeah.
And plus my dad, he lives in Jamaica. So I was around my stepdad, and he had my little sister. That was his daughter. I wasn't his. So I was thinking, I'm alone now, basically. Practically, in my mind, I was thinking, I'm alone. I had my big brother, my older brother, and my stepdad. He's like my real dad. Yeah. But I just felt like I had no one. So I didn't really see where was my life going. I really didn't see anything good happening after that.
Did the family kind of look for help or advice in bereavement counselling or anything like that?
No.
You kind of, let's just deal with this?
Yeah.
Were you all open? Did you kind of talk about what you're feeling? Nothing
Never.
at all?
Never.
It's all
I kept
hidden
everything in, everything. I wouldn't open up and speak to anyone.
Your brothers?
No, my brother, no one.
Not even your stepdad?
No.
Which made things even worse, right? Of course.
Exactly.
You didn't know that back then, but that's how best you dealt with the situation. Okay. Saheeda, you lost a relative as well. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, I lost my auntie in 2011, which was 4 years ago. She died of breast cancer. So for my family, like, it's never ever happened before. So it was so unexpected, and we kind of saw the stages of her, like with the breast cancer. So we saw when her skin was deteriorating, we saw her losing her hair, we saw her losing weight, we saw her always going to chemotherapy, and wouldn't say we couldn't really handle it, but it was just something so unexpected, like randomly all of a sudden, oh, her name was Evelyn, oh, she has breast cancer. Like, no one could really accept it. And even like Chevel was saying how she never spoke about it, we never spoke about it in the family. It was always like, okay, she has cancer, but no one would say it. Like, she'll come to family outings, family gatherings, but even though we knew that she had the cancer, we never exposed it. And it was just really hard to deal with, because like when it's someone else having that cancer, it's like, oh, okay, they have cancer. When it's someone in your family, like it's just a completely different level. It's like a completely different feeling. Like you look at that person, it's like they have that sickness, that illness, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, they can go for therapy, but there's nothing you can physically do to help that person.
How old were you at the time?
I was 17.
17. So you were what, college at the time?
I was at my first year of college, yeah.
And how did this affect your studies?
Chevel said that she was doing what I wasn't. That first year was actually really bad, only because I didn't really want to be involved in too much. So I tried to ignore it. I tried to act like it wasn't happening. So no one even knew. There was only one person that I spoke to about it, but no one knew. I just tried to act like it wasn't happening. And at college, I'll be a completely different person, to be honest. I'll be happy, jolly. No one really knew what was going on, but I'll just be happy, jolly. In terms of like my grades, the first year of college I did actually mess up. I think I got like a U, a C, a D, because I wasn't really serious about it. I was trying to hide it. So I didn't really pay attention in college. I didn't actually go into college. I just missed lessons. Wasn't really going in. And no one knew what was going on in my house.
Yeah.
They just knew me to be that girl that was, you know, just always out with friends and stuff.
Now, this was your auntie. How was she? Who was she in the family?
So she was my mum's brother's wife.
Right.
So my mum and my brother are like really, really close. Like they were like the second family to us.
Yeah.
So if there was like a birthday party or outing, it would always be at their house. So they would come to our house all the time, and plus they knew each other from when my parents were young, from back home as well. So they knew each other for long. So we would always be together. It was never like, it was always my auntie, my uncle, and us in the house. So we was always close, always seeing each other. We always made it a commitment to always see them.
Yeah.
That's why I think it affected us so much.
So when your auntie, passed away, how did it affect the family?
Oh, it was terrible. It was really, really bad. Firstly, it was shock, because we always had in our mind that, okay, she's got the cancer, but you like, not everyone dies with cancer. So we always had that hope that, okay, she's got the cancer now, but she's taking the therapy, she's taking the tablets, you know, she's going to the clinic, so she's going to be okay. So when she did die, it was like a shock for all of us. Like, we wasn't expecting it at all.
How long afterwards did she actually pass away from being diagnosed with cancer?
About like 9-10 months.
Really?
Yeah, about 9-10 months, yeah.
So when they detected it, it was...
Yeah, it was okay, but then towards the end of it, it started progressing and started going wild. And it started spreading all over her body. Before it was just breast cancer, then it spread to like her chest, it spread to her lungs. So when it started getting wild and they were trying to handle it, they couldn't. That's when it started deteriorating even more.
Yeah. So, you know, was she like, as Chevel's mum was, like a bedrock?
Yeah, she was.
Very important figure in the family.
She was really bubbly, she was very friendly. She was one of them aunties that you could speak to about everything. So when you don't want to run to your mum, you run to your auntie, because you know your auntie's going to give you money, your auntie's going to help you, your auntie's going to be there for you. That's how she was. And she had a son as well, and I believe that them two took it the worst out of all of us.
Yeah, how did they
So her husband, they were married for over 10 years. Actually, the day that she did die, I think the year before was their 10-year anniversary.
Right.
So they've been married for 10 years. So it was a thing where like, we'll be like in a family room and I'll just look into my uncle's eyes and I'll just always remember he's lost his wife. Like my cousin's lost his mum. Like even the way I behaved around my mum, I started to kind of back off, because I always remembered, oh, he's lost his mum. I don't want to be too much. Things like Mother's Day and like birthdays and her birthday. Yeah. There was always that kind of like, on my days that he's lost his mum.
How did it affect you? More in depth. How did it affect you? Although you were her niece, how did it hit you hard?
For me, I used to play the blame game. Well, not I used to play the blame game, but I just thought it was my fault. I thought there was something more that I could do to help her. Like, I knew she had cancer, but in that moment, I just thought, what can I do to help her? But I didn't know what to do to help her. And that always stuck with me. Like, should I have spoken to her more? Should I have gone to the hospital more? Should I have prayed for her? Should I have talked about God to her? That was always what was in my mind. Should I have supported her more? And at 17, I didn't really know what to do at that age, but that was always in my mind, like the guilt that maybe I could have done something more. Maybe if I was taking life more seriously, I could have helped her more. Yeah. And that just really killed me, because I didn't.
No, there's a lot of emotions that people go through when they face a death in the family. As you said, there's the guilt. there's the anger, there's the feeling of, you know what, I could have done more, I should have, spent more time with them, and all those. Did all those ideas and feelings run through, both of your minds? Yeah.
For me, it was I should have spent more time with my mum, because growing up, I didn't spend that much time with her because we came from Jamaica, so she came here before me, and then I came a few years after, and it's like when I came here as well, the relationship wasn't as close. Yeah. So when she did pass away, like I felt so low because I thought I could have spent more time with her. I could have made more of an effort to build a relationship and have a mother and daughter kind of bond. Yeah. So that really put more pressure, more hurt and anger inside of me, thinking that I could have done that and made her last days or years, better than it was.
Okay. I'm going to pose this question to both of you, and we're going to go for a break and you can answer afterwards. The question I want to pose to them is, do you think, or did you think, that your mum and your auntie, though they passed away, they were looking down on you, they were, seeing you, watching over you? And this is what many people think, right? They have this idea that their family is watching down over them. I want to get your opinions on that. And after the break, all right, we'll hear your side of the story. All right, and if you, at any time, you would like to speak to someone, you just like to air your concerns, your pain, your hurt, feel free. The helpline is open now. It's 0207 686 6300. Okay, can we put that number on the screen, please? The number's there, 0207 686 6300. We're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hear how they were able to move forward with the loss in their family. We'll see you after this.
This is your UCKG timetable. We are open 7 days a week, helping you to make a new beginning. Monday, a meeting focused on achieving more in your financial life. Tuesday, prayers for healing. Wednesday, a meeting teaching you to develop in your spiritual life. Thursday, a special prayer for the family. Friday, a service for your spiritual deliverance. Saturday, Find the One, a service specifically tailored for your love life. Sunday, Reconnect with God, the main meeting for your spiritual strength.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, tonight's topic is dealing with bereavement. And at any time you'd like to give us a call, you can do so, all right? We have trained people who can sit, talk with you, give you advice, and even if you want, a prayer. So I pose this question to my guests, Chevel and Saheeda, tonight on the passing of your family. Did you, Chevel, did you believe that when your mum had passed away, though she's not with you here, but she's watching over you, did you have that kind of belief?
Yeah, I did. I grew up having that belief that when someone dies, they're still there watching over you. Also, I believed in dreams, where they will visit you in your dreams and they will speak to you and tell you certain things.
Did you ever have any dreams of your mum?
No, I didn't, but family members told me that they had dreams.
Right.
Yeah.
Of your mum?
Of my mum visiting them, telling them that everything's okay.
Really?
And things like that, yeah.
Okay. And when you heard that from your family members, what did you think?
I didn't really think much of it. I kind of wanted a dream just for her to tell me that she was okay.
Right.
But it never happened.
What about you, Saheeda?
Yeah, because like we was African and they're very traditional, so it was like if something bad could have happened but it didn't, it would be like, oh, Evelyn saved us. It was a spirit coming with us. She protected us here. To be honest, I didn't really believe it, but they always used to mention her in things. Oh, that's the reason why, because Evelyn was there protecting us, she was watching us, she was helping us and so forth.
Okay, I'm going to hit on this topic in the last part of the program, all right? But there are a lot of people who do have this belief that family members are watching over them. You hear it in songs, you see it in films, you even see footballers when they score a goal, they point upwards, right? That one was for you. You're watching down on me, or whatever it is. So it's quite a big belief, but I'm going to talk more about this, as I said, at the end of the program. Now, what was the worst point, before we go on how you got help, right? Yeah. What was the worst moment for you?
My worst moments was seeing my younger sister crying. She used to cry and say, oh, I want my mum, I miss my mum. And that was really hard because...
Was that at night time or just any time?
Just randomly. Yeah. She'll just start crying, saying that she wants her mum. And that was really hard because I was only young as well. So I didn't really know what to do. Yeah. But all I had to tell her was that everything was going to be okay.
Okay.
And try to calm her down, really, and tell her that she had me and her dad and my brother and everyone else.
That must have been hard for your younger sister too.
Yeah.
To go through, right?
Yeah.
Saheeda, what about you?
I think the worst moment was at the funeral, when it's like all your families gather together and like everyone's just crying, so much emotion, and it's in the church service and it's like they open the casket and you're just looking at that person and knowing that they're never ever coming back. That was, I think, the hardest for me, knowing that they're putting her 6 feet in the ground and it's done. Like,
I think it kind of hits home, right? Yeah. When you see the coffin going down and it's like, she's not coming back, right? That must have been really hard, yeah? There is a good side to this story, right? Though you can't get your family back, your relatives back, but you have moved on.
Yeah.
Tell us, how did you find this strength to kind of move on?
A good friend of mine, I've known her since we were 11. She invited me to her church, and I decided to go with her.
It's funny that, because, you know, people only think of church and God
when something bad
when
happens.
There's death. At the funeral, that's when they kind of ponder, even though they're not churchgoers, they will start thinking about their lives, right? Yeah. But then after a few weeks or months, it's back to the same old routine. Yeah. So your friend invited you to her church?
Okay. So I decided to go with her, and I noticed that there was a lot of people there who wanted to help. So I decided to speak to an advisor that approached me just to see if everything was okay, you know. So I decided to speak to that advisor, but at first I was a bit skeptical. Like, I don't know you, so how am I going to start speaking to you? And I really found it hard to open up because for a long time, many years, I was just closed and I just held everything inside. I didn't know how to speak to people. But as time went by, I saw that this person really cared.
So you went back again?
Yeah, I continued to go with her.
So what kind of got you going again? Was it something you heard? Was it a prayer? Was it just the warmth of the prayer?
It was just the environment.
Right.
Because I've been to churches before, but when I went to her church, it was just a complete different environment. I saw that there was many people there who was really willing to help.
Yeah.
After the meeting, there was someone there just to greet you and see if everything was okay.
Right.
And I found that really nice.
Yeah.
So I decided to keep going with her.
So when you spoke to this, was it the same advisor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you kind of built a relationship with her. And how was that?
At first, as I said, it was really hard because I don't know you and I didn't know how to open up. I didn't know how to speak about my problems and really let things out. I would just cry or I would just be silent, have an angry look on my face. That's how I would deal with things. But this person kept insisting and speaking to me, and as they kept talking to me, I felt more comfortable to start letting small things out. And through her advices and prayers as well, because it's a church, you will pray.
Yeah.
So I decided to act my faith, and I started to pray and speak to God about what I was going through inside. I was beginning to open up not only to God but also to the advisor, and through doing that, I started to be more calm inside, and I started to realize that life does go on. I miss my mum. I would like her back, but that's not possible. So I kept going, and I kept hearing advices, and from the meetings I was hearing the preachings, and I decided to get my life back because as I said before, I stopped everything. I stopped college. I was looking for work, but I wasn't really bothered if I got something.
Yeah.
So I decided to go back to college. That was one of the first things. I got encouragement to do something because I was told if you just sit at home and think about the problem, nothing is going to change. And I noticed that because I would go home, I would sit there, I would cry, I'll be so low and down, and my mind will always run on my mom and memories, and that's when I will be more low and start crying. So I decided to start doing things with my life.
What was the first thing that you did?
I chose to go back to college.
Right.
And finish my studies, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then after that as well, because I would just keep everything in. As I said, I learned to let things out. If I was feeling a certain way, I would speak about it, and that really helped me as well. Speaking about it.
That was on your chest for all that time. You let go.
Exactly.
And the prayer kind of supported you.
Yeah, exactly. Well. And that helped me a lot.
How is Chevel today? Oh,
I'm much happier. Much happier. I don't go home and cry and, sad. I do miss my mum.
Yeah.
She that's your mum. But it doesn't affect me as it used to affect me before, being low, down, angry, miserable. It doesn't affect me. Yeah. And I have to be strong for my sister as well. And through her seeing that I don't cry anymore, I'm not down, it's also helped her to not think about it as much as she used to.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks for sharing your story with us. Yeah. Saheeda, what about yourself?
So for me, my mum invited me to her church. At first, I didn't really want to go. I thought it was boring. I was really shy and really closed. As I started going there, started liking it, and that's when my auntie obviously died. So at first, I spoke to one of the advisors there. I think it was the first time that I actually said everything that was on my mind. It was, I don't know, it's kind of hard to put your feelings into, I wouldn't say I had trust issues, but I just thought, okay, me telling her, is that going to change anything? But I said, I can't keep holding it inside. So I told her everything. I remember she just said that literally, I need to move on. I need to continue going and I need to make sure I do something with my life. And when she said that, it just reminded me of that. If my auntie was here, if she was still alive, she would have told me the same thing, because she was a very ambitious person. She was a person that always, did things for herself. So if I was just sitting there mourning and crying and it wouldn't change anything, it wouldn't bring her back, even though I wanted her back. So when she said that, I just thought to myself, it's so true. To make my auntie proud is for me to do things, is for me to achieve what maybe she didn't achieve and I could achieve that. That's how I saw it. So when I thought about it like that, I just said, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to sit here and cry, Because every time like family members would call or they would come around, it would always come back to that. They'll just be crying, it would just be depressing. So I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move forward with my life. I'm going to make her proud. I'm going to make my family proud. And
how did you get that, or find that strength to do that?
So through speaking and opening up about it.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, if I don't do this, I'm just going to end up. It's either now or never. That's how I saw it.
And how much did prayer play a part in this?
Prayer helped a lot, because there's moments that you have by yourself that you just start thinking, your mind starts drifting, and if you don't have a strong mind, you're literally just gonna crack. And in those moments, that's when I was speaking to God. God, help me. This is not easy. I need your help. I don't know what to do. I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about the day of the funeral. I keep thinking about her being sick. And I was always asking God to help me with that. Always praying, especially coming to my mum's church as well, asking God to help me through that as well. It was very, very hard.
So you noticed that through the prayers, God was able to kind of remove those thoughts and ideas.
Yeah, the things in my mind.
Right, because both of you were depressed, right? Really down because of it. Now I see just your face now. You said you're kind of happier now. You're moving on with your life.
Yeah.
You're not punishing yourself anymore, right? And you're living life now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Thanks very much for coming, sharing your story with us. Okay. Now, if you are facing a difficult moment, as we said, they are, real live testimonies of people who have been able to move forward. You can too, right? Doesn't matter if it's a friend, a work colleague, your parents, your children. You can move on with the help of God. Now, before we go for a break, let's look at, I think her name is Phyllis Chan, who is an expert on this topic.
Hi Phyllis, welcome to the programme.
Thank you for having me here tonight.
So we're talking about bereavement. So what exactly is bereavement?
Well, actually, people think bereavement is just, dealing with someone who passed away or anything like that, but it's not entirely true. That is the main thing describing the bereavement, is like losing someone, the loved one that you lost, and sometimes it's really hard to deal with. But some people see bereavement as losing a job or breaking up a relationship, they see it as bereavement as well. So I think we should see it as a loss of a relationship, really.
Okay, so you talk about a cycle of grief and loss. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, it's quite interesting, because people kind of think when they come and see a doctor, they say, well, I've just lost someone and I'm really upset. How should I be feeling? And actually, there are 5 stages of bereavement, or the cycle of grief. Number 1 is generally shock. They've been told that they've lost someone. They're kind of like, oh, that can't be real. And that can last several weeks, thinking, no, that can't be true. And then after that period of time, you suddenly to feel guilty and thinking, God, should I have been doing something, should I have been doing more before? Now I haven't got the chance to do it again. And they kind of think, God, I should blame myself for not doing more before. And now I don't have the chance, or even blaming the medical professions or any other people. Could they not be doing more for their loved one? That period of time is quite difficult. And it can last for months, and sometimes I would say it's pathological if you don't get through that step, because quite a lot of our patients or people that we see, they get stuck in that stage, and it can be quite dangerous.
So they're stuck in an anger stage?
And then, or even the next stage, which is the depression stage. After they've gone through the anger or guilt or blaming someone else or themselves, they kind of think, you know what, yeah, this is true, this has happened. And there's nothing that I can do to rectify. And they start to get through the depression stage, as in they feel generally really low, they don't feel like doing anything. That could affect the relationship that they're having right now, and also their job as well. It can be quite detrimental if it's not being dealt with. But most people do go through all these stages, and eventually they will be accepting that this is the truth, and they probably think, you know what, I should pick up all my hobbies that I used to be doing, rather than grieving, because my loved one probably wouldn't want to see me doing nothing and grieving for them. They want us to have a fulfilling life. So that would be the stages of bereavement or grief.
So how long would that take? Is there a set period of time that people should expect to move forward?
Yeah, that's a very common question that patients come and ask and saying, what should I do now? How long should it take for me to get better? Well, actually, there's no fixed period of when people are going to get better. And different people are different, the coping mechanism are different. And coping mechanism could be the resilience or even support from the family and friends. And some people who are very isolated normally, and they lost their loved ones. And sometimes it tends to take longer for them to get through these stages. And I think, we shouldn't have any fixed time in our head saying that we should get better by several months. It doesn't work like that. And the first thing first is understanding that there are stages to go through and knowing that you should go through the stages. And if you're stuck in a particular stage, I think that's the time that you should seek help.
So what kind of help is out there for people?
Oh, there's many different organisations out there to help people to go through bereavements. Number one, I think if you don't know where to go and see your GPs, because they're the first port of action that you can tell them, I don't know what to do. You might not know what to do regarding emotionally, but also practicality. Because someone just passed away, what do you do? How do you organise a funeral? What step do you need to go through? How to register a death? Nobody are going to know all these answers, but we do, or we can direct you to the right places. So that's number one. And number two is there's a bereavement service or counselling called CRUISE in this country. It's nationwide. So what they do is providing free counselling for people who just lost their loved one or just going through a rough time, can't get out of that cycle. So most people do give them a call, and then they can organise either one-to-one counselling or even group counselling. And our patients find it really beneficial. And just talk about the practicality side of thing, gov.uk actually provide practical tips on how to organise, how to register death or how to organise a funeral. So I think it's worthwhile to go to the websites and have a look.
Great, thank you very much for joining us.
That's all right, thank you for having me tonight.
She told me, you are beautiful. I love you. Say again. You're beautiful.
Your destination. A destination that's not defined by your circumstances, by what's happening to you now, by what happened to you in the past.
So today was my first time and I absolutely loved it.
Come and see. They need to come and really test it.
You are a warrior, and we need these qualities that you have to come and defend our household.
Just a big eye opener on how positive changes will make such a big difference in all that I do, so yeah.
What captured me was the title, The Inner Healing, because I've been going through a lot in my life and I've overcome them, but there were things that I needed to deal with that were deep down on the inside. And it was the inner healing that captured my thoughts, and I was intrigued to find out what was going on.
You get what you give out.
Women need this. Women need a meeting like this.
Hiding in my skin, broken from within, unveil me completely. I'm loosening my grasp. There's no need to mask my frailty, 'cause you see the real me.
They say that home is where the heart is, a place that should be filled with joy, security, happiness and memories. However, sometimes our own blood is the cause of most of our pain. Before you lose hope, try this. Every Thursday, come and pray for your family and receive the guidance and support that could help you all reconnect again. After all, no amount of success can compensate for a broken family.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, I want to show you a video. Have a look at this. It's been recent in the news, and it's something that's gone back, actually started, some years ago, and it's just resurfacing now. Take a look at this.
Charlie, are you here? I swear to God.
Get out of my house.
Wait, are you here to harm us? Wait, go back to no. You're bugging out. Oh my God!
Charlie, are you there? Charlie. Oh, no!
No, because I read something on Facebook. Right, let me get it up. I read something and it was like, people need to stop doing it because you're bringing them. Charlie, are you here?
Oh my God! Now, this is a game that young people are playing. It's like an Ouija board where they invoke this spirit. I don't know if his name is Charlie, but it's apparently some Mexican boy. They say it's a spirit of a Mexican boy. And they've called upon this spirit, and as you saw there, things start moving. The pencils start moving. Now, let me tell you something. This is very demonic. This is something that these young kids are doing for fun, but they're getting themselves into a lot of problems. They don't know what they are dealing with. And I asked that question to my two guests tonight. Do you believe that your parents or your family members who passed away are looking down upon you? First of all, the Bible does mention this. It does say that when people die, there is a great gulf. The living can't pass to where the dead is, and the dead can't come back to the living. Once we die, that is it. And I might be breaking some hearts here. I have relatives that have died. And the idea of them watching over us, it's a good idea. It's all, feeling warm and, they're watching over me. But that, if you believe in the Bible, which I do, that is a complete lie. There is an afterlife, but no one is watching over you. Family, relatives are not watching over us. And this game that has reappeared now, I've got an email from a friend of mine who at school, she experienced this, her friends doing this, and she emailed me, and with this resurgence of this Charlie game, look what she said. When I was a preteen, I remember seeing some of my classmates playing Charlie in the school library. And one of the girls ended up having a fit, a convulsion, and passed out. She was taken to hospital, and after that day, she started having mental problems. She left school, and her parents said she would cry and say that a boy would contact her. The spirit would say he was a boy who died in a plane crash, and he was asking for help. Now, this is what happened to a girl, a friend of mine, her friend, who started going mad because they were dealing with spiritual forces that they weren't capable of dealing with. So, if you are thinking of playing around with these things, please, my advice to you is don't even bother, even as a dare, because these teenagers now, I'm not cursing them. They have cursed themselves by doing this thing for fun. So, death, there is an afterlife, but we do not get in contact with the dead. By all means you can, but you are invoking evil spirits. It's not for us to dabble in. Once our family passes away, that's it. It's time for you to get up and move on. If you can't find, that strength to do so, then that's what the prayer is all about. And that's what our two guests did. They found the strength to move on and get on with their lives instead of contacting the dead. If you feel as though you know, your life has been cursed because you've done this as a joke, for fun in the past, then I advise you, get in contact, because this prayer that this person will say on the line now with you, even this prayer now that I'll make with you, is going to help you, all right? I don't want you being depressed. I don't want you having fits or convulsions or even something much worse. So let's turn to God, who is the beginning and the end of life. All right? It's time for prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer concerning your family and loved ones, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
My God and my Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray for those who have lost loved ones, who found it hard to move forward. My God, I ask you to give them strength. Help them, my God, in their battle, in this fight, my Lord, to get up and move on in life. Father, give them strength as you did with Saheeda and Chevel. My Lord, I also pray for anyone who has played this or other games invoking spirits. Lord, protect them. Remove any negativity from their lives and help them to move forward, my God. Do not let anything, any curse, any spiritual forces attack this person. Put an end to it right now in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. My Lord, send your angels to protect this person and those teens as well. All those teens who have played this game, they're playing with fire. My Lord, may your protection be with them. I give this viewer, I give all those who've suffered loss in their lives to you. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. So we have to go now, but please take this program seriously, what we just said. You can move forward. Until the next time, have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.